SF Glock series compared to their standard series. Now you do have the Generation 4 that's a little bit different, but Glock still offers the standard frame. They also offer now the short frame, and they offer the 4th generation, which has interchangeable back straps. But for our purposes today, we're just going to look at the short frame versus the standard. Of course, first thing we're going to do is safety check. I've recently done a review on the Model 20. This is the 10mm. This is standard. It is a 2nd generation. It does not have the accessory rail, but it is the standard frame size. One of the things about this pistol, and with the 21 as well, I had one of the standard frame 45s, and it was just too big for my hand. But it's really funny. Once I shot the 10mm, I liked having a little bit of extra when shooting because of the velocity and the ballistics of the 10mm. And then so because of that, I went ahead, I wanted the short frame Glock in the 10mm. I really like that caliber. Another thing about 10mm, which is a bonus, is that right now with all the ammunition being bought up like crazy, 10mm is typically still on the shelf. This is your large frame, the 20, and of course there is the compact, which is the Model 29. Now what we're going to talk about with this large frame 10mm also applies to the Model 21, which is in 45 ACP. Now the easiest way to tell if your Glock pistol is a short frame is right here. It'll say SF, and that means short frame. A lot of times, in fact, I've been guilty of this, even though I know better, by saying slim frame. It is not any slimmer width-wise. It is exactly the same as the standard model. So what you have is a shorter frame. Because to be honest with you, there's nowhere to relief anywhere in this width part. It's all about this direction here. And the one thing about the Glock is that it does have this area, this cavity, where your magazine goes in. So this is where they're taking the width off. So they're bringing this in, as you can see right here, with the short frame, and they've just made this smaller. And this fits the hand better. I originally thought that Glock was answering a lot of concerns from the civilian market because of the grip of these pistols. But in 2007, Glock had decided to join the U.S. military Joint Combat Pistol Trials, and they were looking at the 45 ACP. There was nothing ever chosen from it. But because of that, Glock went ahead and put together a pistol that had a more ergonomic grip. And so that's where the short frame came from. Now, the current production standard frame is going to be almost identical to the short frame except in one area, and that is the grip. And it's in this distance right here. So I took a pair of calipers and went ahead and just measured, for one thing, the distance right here, the thickness. And it is completely identical. The width is 1¼ inches from here to here. But the difference is right here. Now, if you take this distance at the base of this pistol, the length is 2½ inches. Actually, just a touch under 2½ inches. Right here with the short frame, of course here I have it in the same distance. It's actually 2¼ inches. So you're getting a 1/4 inch less right here on the short frame. Right here behind the trigger to where your grip, the web of your hand fits. On the standard, it's 2 3/8 inch. Again, you can see there's already a distance. We're going to close the gap. This is 2 1/4 inches. The short frame is the same here as it is here. On the standard frame, this distance is actually about 1/8 inch shorter right here. But it's still about 1/8 inch difference in here. And then the total length of your standard is just a little under 8 1/4 inches, whereas your slim frame total is just over 8 inches. All your parts will interchange. Now on the 4th generation they won't. But all your parts on the standard and the slim frame will interchange. 50% of the parts of your large frame Glock pistols, your 45 and your 10mm, will interchange with a standard Glock 17, just like this one. Now this one is a 4th generation, and it has the different texturing here. It has the removable back strap, and it has a different recoil system. In fact, this is a double recoil system that's a lot different than the 3rd generation and your standard. So we're going to test out the different grips with it shooting side by side. So I'm going to fire a couple of rounds with the basic standard G20, and then I'm going to take the SF G20 and just do a little comparison just right here in the field, just some of my initial thoughts. Standard. Now with the short frame. This is really what controls the grip of your hand, is the surface right here on the front and back strap. In between here is you're not really gripping tight on that area. So on this full-size pistol, it does feel this part of the hand, which if you have really large hands, that's probably going to feel pretty good to be able to grip this surface. It is a little thick, and so it's almost unnatural unless you shoot this often, which you can overcome that. But here with the slim frame, it really rides a little nicer for a medium-sized hand, and it fits well, especially down here in this area. I will end up relieving this area right here. It really brings your hand up just enough to meet with the web of your hand right here on the back of this frame. But to me, the short frame really helps in controllability. It gives me a tighter grip. My hands are not extended quite as much. Just that 1/4 inch does give a lot of help. So I really enjoyed shooting the short frame quite a bit more than the full size. Now, even if the short frame, if you would like it to be a little smaller, then you can go with the 4th generation, and then that brings it even closer in. With your standard pistol and with the short frame, you're going to get 2 magazines with it. On the 4th generation, you're going to get 3 magazines. And the 4th generation magazines have a cutout here so you can have an ambidextrous safety, and the magazines will work with either one. These will not work with your ambidextrous safeties. And one thing to be careful of, if you're buying a 4th generation Glock, you should get 3 magazines. If you don't, call Glock and they will give you your extra magazine, and they will put the dealer who sold this to you on a list and discontinue service with those guys. So you are supposed to get 3 magazines with your Gen 4 and 2 magazines with your short frame or your standard pistols. So in the 10mm, there are 6 Glock models to choose from. In fact, it kind of surprised me they still offered the standard. But you have your standard, you have your short frame, you have your 4th generation full-size Model 20, and then the compact G29, you also have a standard, a short frame, and a Gen 4 pistol. So Glock's offering 6 separate models of the 10mm, and they're offering 7 different models of the 45 ACP in the full-size Model 21, and the Model 30, which is the compact, and the Model 36, which only offers 1 variation. I know the HPR in the 10mm, the full metal jacket, was running about $30.99 at Midway. I believe they are out of stock. And then yesterday I picked up some Blazer 10mm, and this is the 200 grain full metal jacket. These were $25 a box. You can get the jacketed hollow point from Scottsdale Ammo as well on the jacketed hollow points for a good self-defense option. I think having something with this kind of caliber would be excellent, especially if there were dangerous game around. Whether you're hunting wild boar or bear, or you could be hunting whitetail and run across a bear. The 10mm gives you a lot of comfort on your side. If you're looking to own a 10mm, I think the Glock is your best option. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America. Long live the Republic. But the slim frame, but the short frame that this regular standard pistol, but I think definitely if you have bigger hands, but I think if you have a bigger hand, I think you'll really like. I'm finished.